Welcome back to the 3-Minute AI Tip Series, Practical AI for Business, Episode 4. Ask before you sign. What are the 5 questions you need to ask your AI vendor? There are 3 headlines in 1 week, June, July. OpenAI sued over extremely dangerous medical recommendations provided by ChatGPT. Treasury Secretary says it's unacceptable that Chinese open source AI models may have been built on IP theft. U.S. auto industry races to purge Chinese connected car hardware amid federal push. 3 headlines in 1 week. A chatbot sued over medical advice, Washington threatening sanctions, and an entire industry ripping out hardware it's already paid for. None of that is about technology. All of it is about questions somebody didn't ask their AI vendor. Here are the 5 questions you need to get resolved. Question 1. When it's wrong, who's liable? The lawsuit turns on a chatbot giving advice it wasn't meant to give, and the vendor's defense is its own terms of service. Read your terms of service. It almost certainly says the output isn't advice, it's provided as is, and you're responsible. Ask for the indemnity clause in writing. If there isn't one, the answer is you. Question 2. Where does my data go? 4 sub-questions, and you want all 4 in the contract, not in a sales call. Is my data used to train their model? Which country is the data stored in? Who else can compel access to it? And can you actually delete it when I walk away from the vendor? Question 3. What's actually under the hood? Most AI vendors are thin wrappers over somebody else's model. Which model? Which version? Trained on what? That matters more than it used to. Washington is now examining where models came from and talking openly about sanctions. The Treasury Secretary even floated whether firms using foreign models should have to disclose that to their own customers. Using a Chinese model? Hello? Question 4. What breaks if this gets banned? Look at what's happening to the car makers. A federal rule on connected vehicle tech means they're ripping out hardware they've already paid for and locking in compliant suppliers years ahead of the deadline. Software is no different. Ask it plainly. If I had to swap out my model and my vendor in 90 days, what would that cost me? And do I still own my data on the way out? Question 5, and it's the one from episode 1. Show me why it answered that. If a decision affects a customer, you need a reason you can defend to them, to an auditor, or to a court. If the vendor says the reasoning is proprietary, that's your answer, and it's the answer that ends the meeting. So there you are. Liability, data, provenance, exit cost, and explainability. 5 questions, and you can ask all of them in about 4 minutes. And you don't need to be technical to grade the answers. A vendor who's done this before answers in specifics: a clause number, a region, a file format, a sample log. Everyone else answers in adjectives: proprietary, enterprise grade. Nobody else asks that. You walk away with those answers. So here's the whole thing in one line. You don't need to understand the model. You need to be able to leave. Every one of those 5 questions is really asking the same thing. Can I walk away in 90 days with my data and my reputation intact? Okay, next episode. The cheapest AI project your business can run, and you can start it on Monday. Cheers.